KRBE, a Cumulus media station.
Good morning, everyone.
We ready?
Live from the TXU Energy Studio.
The Rule and Ryan Show with Eric, featuring Special K and Sam.
Oh, well, I wonder why Jessica is on the line. Let's find out. Our phones are very busy right now at 833-390-KRBE. Hi, Jessica. Good morning.
Jessica.
Good morning.
Jessica,
Hey.
you're caller 104.
So right at the bat, you got $104.
Yay!
Thank you.
Okay, for those just tuning
I'm so
in,
excited.
the Bad Bunny stager hit, the
sneaky.
sounder hit. Jessica is caller 104. She's just won $104. And now, Jessica, you are a finalist for a trip for two to Puerto Rico to see Bad Bunny with VIP tickets to his show. It's airfare for two of y'all. It's a 2-night hotel stay. And we're going to pull that grand prize winner on Monday morning. It could be
7
your
a.m.
name.
So if you get the grand prize, who you taking?
Oh, my sisters are going to be mad. I don't know. One of the three.
Oh, you got to pick one.
That was a fight. A
Yeah.
fight happening. Well, you figure that out.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm recently single. If you know.
Yeah, there you go.
This is very odd.
He likes Puerto
I don't
Rico.
know about that one.
I love San Juan.
Coming right
He
out
puts
with
out.
hitting on the ladies. Guess that heart's mended now.
It's a cheap date.
Jessica, hang
Yes,
on
that
the line.
heart's
We'll get your
mended.
information off the air, and we'll hook you up with your $104. That's how it works, guys. Between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Many more chances.
That was shocking.
We did it right there at
I'm
8
just
o'clock.
having
Like
fun.
right there. We are like inside the first minute of 8 o'clock, and boom, we've already
Yup,
made a finalist.
I love it.
Okay, so here behind the scenes on the Rule and Ryan Show with Eric, over the years, for many years we have done this. If you have a charity event and you're trying to raise money for at that event, many times there are silent auctions at the event and people need items like, hey, let's can we talk to your business about making this basket of wine or something we can have people bid on to raise money for the charity. One of the things that we like to offer at KRBE is a private tour of our station and coming to visit the Rule and Ryan Show with Eric.
And sometimes we put you on the radio, on air if we can.
And
If you have
sometimes,
time.
and sometimes we don't, because sometimes people don't want to be on the air. They're like, that's okay, we're just watching.
So guys, we're not putting you on.
You just watch and enjoy.
Listen, we've got Kim and
Being a
Jennifer
jerk.
from Bernhausen Elementary in Klein here with Caleb, Kyle, and Layla, and Kim's twin sister, Catherine, where Kim is a teacher. Catherine
Hey, Kim,
works at
jump on
NASA. Welcome, gang.
Welcome,
Hey, guys.
Hello. All right, Kim, when was y'all's last day of school? Last week?
For students, it was last Friday. For teachers, it was Monday, but we feel like it's still going on. 'cause we have lots of training.
Lots of training.
And y'all do a lot of work throughout the summer, I'm sure.
Yes.
Like when they say training, like you have to like do like, how's that? All in the same room and like auditorium.
Yes. So
Taking notes. This is what we could do better next year, guys. Or you have to do cheers and stuff.
Oh,
Get
cheers.
pumped up. And,
It's not quite that motivational, but tomorrow I will be giving a presentation on having plants and animals in the classroom.
Oh, that's
we
cool.
have-
Okay.
What is your opinion on that?
we have a very loved class rabbit,
Uh-huh.
and then I also have a therapy dog. So
Oh, wow.
he volunteers at schools and libraries.
Who takes the rabbit and the dog for the summer?
No, he's our pet.
Oh,
so-
that's your
That's
pet.
yours.
Okay.
Okay.
And then so they come and read with kids, and so that'll be all part of my presentation tomorrow. So.
Well, listen, I want
That's cool.
the kids to give their shout out so that we can get y'all closer to the mic.
That's
Because I know
it.
the
That's
kids
what
right
kids
now
are-
is
I
at
know.
it's at mic level
The
for
microphone
them.
is at different height levels.
So, Caleb, how old are you?
9.
9 years old.
9.
So, what grade did you just finish?
3rd.
3rd grade. Are you excited about 4th grade?
Yeah.
I hope you have a better time than my son did. My son
I
did not
will.
like 4th grade.
did you like 3rd grade?
I
Don't
hope.
scare him.
Yeah, my son
I
wasn't
will.
a fan of
I
4th grade.
hope.
Yeah. Who do you want to say hi to somebody in your life? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, like you got your open mic here. It's a hot mic. You can say
Right.
whatever you want.
Who do you want to talk to?
Give a shout out to people standing in line.
Oh,
Tell
no,
you for
no, he's
the.
being on the
Oh, okay.
Hey, what do I say?
Whatever you want.
Who do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, Houston.
That's what my son does sometimes. Okay, you want Kyle to have his chance or Layla to have her
Yeah.
chance? Layla doesn't want to say anything. Okay, Kyle. Hi. I understand you sing.
What?
You sing,
Uh-huh.
and you've
Oh.
sung at like different events already, like
Yeah.
public events, like Dynamo games and stuff.
What's your
I've
favorite
also
song?
sang at the Texans game and a U of H game.
Oh my God, that's
fun.
awesome. What's your favorite song to sing?
Or what do you sing at those events? versus your favorite song. I
I'm
guess.
sure I'm sure
probably
he's
sings national
he's
anthem,
done a
I
lot.
assume.
Like
Was it
what?
national anthem?
It's the national anthem for every single time.
Can you give us a few
Oh
notes?
God, put him on the spot.
They put you on the spot.
Just do the
okay?
first. Oh, say, can you see? Yeah, can you do that?
He's like,
Do not do that to him.
Do not do that to him.
All right.
Okay,
He's like, I'm in a
so you want
choir,
to say
I
hi to
sing
somebody?
He's like,
I haven't
shut
drank
up, old
any
man.
water this morning.
Yeah, he has water.
He's also performed Nirvana at talent shows. I don't know if we can get a few lines out of that.
That's
From,
awesome. Oh yeah, anything.
I don't think I remember.
Do you want to say hi to anybody, Kyle?
That was a year ago. So.
You want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Okay, so we got Kim, Jennifer, and Catherine in here. And they were part of a tour that they purchased at a, charity auction. And that's how Kim got in here. And Catherine is her identical twin who works at NASA. So Kim is a teacher. Catherine's at NASA. Jennifer, before we get to Catherine,
Jennifer,
I'm
jump over here on this plate.
really interested in Catherine's line of work at NASA because you guys are going to be floored. But Jennifer, real quick, you are the librarian and the person in charge of the announcements at your school.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, God bless you because you are teaching these kids the technology and the stuff that maybe could one day land them in.
Do they
these
still
chairs.
do the Dewey Decimal System?
We're getting a little away from that here and there just to make sorting books a little easier for kids. We want them to find books quickly and find things they're passionate about. Sometimes the Dewey Decimal System makes it a little complicated when
No,
they're
it's
7.
not fair. I had to do it.
I never understood the
They
thing.
have
I
to
still
go
don't
through
get
that
it.
It's a little
pain.
complicated.
I
So
still
a
don't
little
get it.
yes and a little no, but it's definitely
Yeah.
working in the favor of all the kids and teachers to make sure they can find what they want to
Look,
read.
and I'm glad that you still have your title and your job because I know
me too.
last year so many counselors and librarians were eliminated
I know.
because of the budget.
It's such an important role.
And it is such an important role. When you do announcements, what'd you say when you walked in? You go, oh, I don't have all this. I just have an iPad. We make
No,
announcements.
yeah, we just work with our amazing district provides iPads and computers, so we use that and our smart panels. And I've got a great team of 5th graders. They come in the morning and they rehearse all the slides and the birthdays for the day and any
That's
announcements
cute.
for the kids. And
Does anybody
we announce
have still a chalk blackboard?
Or are they all smart boards?
They're mostly smart boards and whiteboards still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if anybody in the world had
If
one.
they
Well,
did,
Jennifer,
then
do you wanna say
that
hi
school
to-
is in trouble.
Yeah, you're right. Do you want to say hi to anybody?
I'll say hi to my husband Kendall and my family in Houston.
Yay!
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Is this
you
what
guys.
Thank you.
Is this what you thought it'd be when you came in here?
No, this is amazing. This is very, very cool.
A lot of
Thank you
computers,
for
right?
having us.
A lot of
Yes,
computers.
absolutely.
Well, who was it that said that they thought Kevin looked taller, or somebody
me,
said
Catherine.
that?
I thought,
Catherine was-
I thought Special K was not who I thought he would look like. So.
What'd you think?
Oh, he's
I thought
coming
he
in.
was more-
His ears perked up. Hang on.
Wait,
Okay.
I thought he was a little bit more blonde. So.
Well, he has
but
been
yeah.
at times.
Now it's gray.
Not today.
Don't make him put one of his prank call voices on.
Just for twinks.
All right.
I was hoping he'd get some of his characters out while I was here, just so I could see
yeah, you
his
wanna
facial
give him-
expressions while I'm doing it.
Give him a little.
I like to.
I have to have my headphones on to do the characters.
He'll talk in that character for the
come
rest
on.
of the segment.
Let's bring
You
out
pick
Also-
the
Eloise
character.
Pennybaker
Is that who you
first.
wanted?
Yes, I do. The lady with the cats.
Yeah.
Listen, you leave my cats alone. They never asked to be on this stupid show. I'm Eloise Pennybaker. My kitty cat. She's taxidermied. You know, she's no longer with us, but she still wakes me up every morning. The ghost of Mrs. Picklesby. Yes, Mrs. Picklesby. And you also wanted the.
Yeah, that's right. Prank calls.
I don't.
Yeah, that's his actual cheek.
How do his cheeks not fall off? I mean,
I know,
my-
it's so crazy. Okay, real quick, Catherine, you work at NASA, and the job you told us you have. The reason I'm so fascinated is because years ago I had a friend come visit me on the East Coast, and we lied to my show that I was on, and we told her right, she works at NASA, and she's in charge of the astronauts and measuring their
Yeah, she's in
bodies
Philly, so she
for
bought
the
the-
spacesuits. And they bought it because why wouldn't they buy it?
Yeah.
And your job is actually astronaut related, and not the spacesuits, but something even more fascinating. Tell me what you do at NASA.
Yeah, so I'm a data manager. I work for a company that's contracts with NASA, so it's on with NASA, and I work with the Human Research Program. And so what they do is they fund a lot of the grants that are out there that help get the astronaut body ready for space. Like they do a lot of studies on
what kind of prep?
Human
radiation
body.
and like bone and muscle loss. Like for example, you can grow up to a foot taller when you're in space.
What? That's amazing.
And
That's
like,
Just so
fascinating.
your bones expand?
Yeah,
or-
yeah. And then they had this really cool twin study, which as an identical twin, I think it's awesome. But like they didn't found out that like eyesights and things different impact
With
on the
Mark and
body.
Scott Kelly.
Yes,
Right? The
yes,
Mark and
yes,
Scott Kelly experiment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, because was it Mark Kelly?
I think
Mark
Mark
Kelly
went
was up
up.
there and Scott Kelly was here, or vice versa?
Scott, we've had it on the show many times.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Kim and I would have to arm wrestle. I'm probably claustrophobic. I'd send her up. So
Do they lose bone
what kind of-
density? Hold on. Do they lose bone density while they're up there? Because I know, what
They
about the
do.
astronauts that were there for like a year or something?
they do lose some bone density, and circulation is also a concern because there's a lot of kidney stones. You don't think about that, but
Oh,
I don't know if
that's
anybody's had a
painful.
kidney stone on Earth, but it had to be pretty painful up.
I would think.
A
Yeah.
lot of men
So,
will say that's the equivalent to giving
Oh,
birth.
I never thought about it.
kidney
You're stuck up
stones.
there. What do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, what do you do if there's a medical
there's
emergency like that?
Every astronaut's assigned a doctor, and they have certain equipment and medicine up there that has to be up there. But I always hated when people said that a kidney stone was more painful than giving birth.
Yeah, that's what men say.
Until I had my 3-year-old, and she I had a kidney stone that put me into labor.
Oh my!
And so having them both at the same time is really bad.
I can't even imagine.
I'd say.
What kind of preparation do the astronauts do before they what kind of regimen?
So they have there's a group in called Countermeasures, and so they do a lot of work to kind of get the body ready. And so a lot of times exercise, like on a treadmill, or they just had a new flywheel, kind of like an exercise bike to do that. And years and years of training, and the astronauts they do a lot, and they are always up for the science. So part of my group, because you do the medical, they also have to give a lot of body samples.
I was going to ask you, when they're up there, you have to keep the samples. Do they study the samples to make sure things are on track?
Yeah.
If you're in there, the astronauts do that. They're their own stuff.
Yeah. And even here on Earth, they have to take a lot of samples. So I saw a picture one time of an astronaut coming home, and he had all these bags of coolers on him, kind of just because he opted into all the science projects.
Oh, wow.
To help you there.
Yeah,
so astronauts
blood.
are amazing, and they are.
And how many astronauts do we have living
I think
here?
there's about 90. So
See, isn't that crazy that we don't even think of that? I didn't think that
All
was
the
that high.
astronauts that live right here in H-Town.
Yeah, I mean, I know they all live in our area,
They
like
live
Clear
over
Lake
the Clear Lake
area
area.
and whatnot, but you don't think about that. And it's very rare when you meet somebody at a party or in line, at a long line somewhere at the GPS or something. Oh, what do you do for I'm an astronaut. What? You want?
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
What?
weird.
And
Now I noticed you've got this large group of kids. Has there ever been an instance where the kids accidentally fired off the space shuttle and they went up by themselves?
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Space Camp.
That's a joke for the inside joke for the space camp.
Well,
watchers.
my sister gives me street cred with my students about telling entertaining stories, like when the astronauts go up on the ISS and they pedal too fast on the bike, it goes off course a little bit, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then one
Are
of
you kidding me?
Does it
then-
really?
And then
It
one of
could.
her first meetings, she sat around with a bunch of astrophysicists, and they were talking about how they couldn't have soy sauce on the ISS
Why?
because it produces too much flatulence.
Really?
So a bunch of smart
that's
people
so
trying not to
interesting.
say the word fart.
Yeah. That would literally be
It
a
didn't
hot
quite
box.
go like that, but they were trying to find another kind of soy sauce or food flavoring.
If you are
So,
just
yeah.
tuning into the Rule and Ryan Show with Eric, we have special guests in the studio today who purchased a silent auction item where you get a private tour of KRB and you come visit our show. And we are fascinated with our teachers. And
Really, we learned something. Now, if you're going on a date tonight, guys and girls, and getting
Soy
sushi,
sauce?
be careful.
Stay away from
but
the
is that
soy
wait,
sauce.
is the soy sauce causing flatulence because they're anti-gravity up there versus how it affects us here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Catherine, because your
Makes
job
you
is
fart
to
roll.
follow
I
their
didn't
human
that
body.
study,
Try
but,
Tuesday.
I'll have to look at it.
Well, I mean, listen, we've had a lot of dumb question moments on this show. I mean, with Scott Kelly, I when I was a child, I did a tour of Johnson Space when I was 8 years old. And you heard something when you were a kid and you believe it until you're an adult. So it wasn't until Scott Kelly, he wasn't in here. I think we were talking about, and then he came in and I clarified. I told the guys, the astronaut ice cream is that hard styrofoam looking thing, but when it goes up in space, it changes. It actually melts into cold ice cream. I was told that at 8 years old at Johnson Space Center, and I believed
Yeah, we called him up.
And then I asked him. Everyone was like, "No, it doesn't." I go, "It doesn't." I thought there was something between leaving the atmosphere and going up into the galaxy.
It
makes
depressurizes the ice cream
something.
sandwich and makes it
changes
liquidy.
the composition of the foods. And so I called Scott Kelly and I said, "Dude, I said the dumbest thing, but I didn't know it was dumb because I was 8 and I never double checked after I grew up." And he goes, "No, we never take that really. You know that, right? That's just commercial gift shop stuff." He said grapes or raspberries. Things like that don't really stay, right? Catherine, I don't know if you know about the food they eat. How does it stay? Can they take fresh raspberries? I can't remember what Scott said about the fresh raspberries or the fruit. Maybe he couldn't take them.
So they are doing some experiments, especially on the space biology of growing things up in air. I'm not sure. I'm not in that group, but I think not a lot of the fresh things. But I heard one of the astronauts talking one time, and you really need. So a lot of it's in packaging, right? Because it'll float off, and you have to add water to it.
No Skittles, guys.
Yeah, actually, there is Skittles and
tasting the
M&Ms.
rainbow.
There was something about somebody ate all the M&Ms
It was flying
at one
around.
point.
But if one flying away and
Yeah, so and then but he said that he really liked refried beans. Of course, he was a Texan because it helped bind the food together.
Boy, talk about
like he
hard.
ate a lot of refried beans while he was up in space.
Well, it's the paste you put, it's in the air, right?
But what about, are they allowed to have...
I love Kim's favorite story, too, of the one of the astronauts losing a tomato up in space.
What?
Yeah, we have a garden in our classroom, and we were growing tomatoes, and it turns out up in the space station, the first tomato ever grown went missing. And so they eventually found it a year later, but they all accused of Rubio of eating the tomatoes. And like 8 months later, they finally found the missing tomatoes dehydrated. And so my students always imagine that they had to throw it away, which means they ejected to space. So somewhere out in space, there's 2 floating dried out tomatoes.
It's quite a space junk.
Now, are they allowed to have any astronauts ever had alcohol up there? Like, Eric, it would kill you not to be have
Eric's
bourbon
not an
for a
astronaut,
year.
that's
Not
why.
gonna be an astronaut.
You're not physically fit if you drink as much
Has
bourbon.
anybody had like a beer or something in space?
I don't know, but there's been a lot of studies on if coffee. I noticed that most astronauts just drink a cup of coffee a day, and that's kind of in the morning to get themselves going. But there's been studies on caffeine and things like that. I haven't seen any on alcohol. So
lots of studies. That's really cool. Well, thanks guys so much for investing in our show for your charity. What was the charity, Kim, that benefited from this?
It's Klein United Methodist, and I have people blowing up my phone from the mamas right now, so I'm supposed to give them a shout out. So
hey, mamas.
Hey, thanks, moms from Klein UMC and the choir that's going on tour this summer. Good luck, and we love supporting y'all.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Y'all hang out. Don't go anywhere. You can still see the rest of how the show plays out. You've already seen us give away the $104 for the Bad Bunny Puerto Rico trip. And we're going to have our visitors here throughout the show. And then we thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yay. Coming up next, it's time for Rula's Relationship Roulette. And this conversation came up yesterday after the show with so many women who have high-power jobs, and they're, we're talking about graduates, engineers, all this stuff. They're making a lot of money. We are absolutely in a time in 2025 where the woman in the relationship will be making more than the man.
Be the breadwinner.
So the question is, ladies, in 2025, if you're dating, how important is it for you for the man to be the provider?
Does it matter at all?
The provider.
Do you care what the guy does? Or maybe you do because your parents care because they're old school. They think, oh, no, you can't be with a guy that doesn't have a job that makes this amount of money.
You make more money than him? Yeah. What are you doing with him for?
Yeah.
But in 2025, that's a very common thing. It wasn't in...
Or is it? We'll find out.
1955. It wasn't in maybe even 1985.
So you got to be dating right now.
Yeah, you're dating right now. How important is it for you to find a man who also could be the provider? 833-390-KRBE. We'll talk to you next on The Real and Ryan Show with Eric.
Spin the wheel, find out what's the deal.
What's the deal?
Rula's Relationship Roulette on KRB.
Bad Bunny. I know I was going to say, where's Bad Bunny? All right, 833-390-KRVE. You can always kick me a topic you want us to throw out here for Rula's Relationship Roulette. You can tag me at Radio Rula on Instagram, or you can reach out to us at krbe.com. This conversation came up last week. Something came up last week where we got text messages. One lady was very adamant in her all caps about how every woman, no matter what she says, wants that prince, the African king. She wants the leader of the pride to be the leader of the pride.
I want my girls to make as much money as they can on their own. I don't want them ever
not relying on another person.
Rely on any other person, especially a guy.
So the question is, in 2025, if you're dating, how important is it for the man that you are dating, or even the person you're with right now, y'all aren't married yet, to be the provider? 833-390-KRBE. Are we falling away from that because women are getting jobs now in the last 10, 15, 20 years that are making more than a man? Let's go to the phone. Samantha K., you are up first. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
We're good. What's your relationship situation before you answer the question?
I'm in a long-term relationship.
Okay. And what's your thoughts on the man being the provider, or are you good if you make the money and that's just how it's going to go in your marriage or long-term relationship?
I am all for a girl bossing her way through life and being independent and being able to take care of herself. But at the end of the day, there's just certain responsibilities that a woman has that a man cannot have. They breed your children, they get pregnant, they breastfeed. At the end of the day, it has to be a man that you can rely on. When you go off on maternity leave, or if you decide that you don't want to go back to work, for example, a man just has to be able to take care of you. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I strongly advocate for a woman not having to rely on a man, you should always have something to fall back on, and you should always have something for yourself. But we can't be responsible for paying the bills and breeding your children.
Does it have to be they have to make more money than you, or is just they make a good living? Like, say you make $70,000 and he makes $50,000. Is that okay, or do you think he has to make it 70 or more?
As long as they're able to take care of you, take care of a family, and provide for you.
Yeah, and to do the work around the house, be a dad.
Because you're gonna have to cut costs if she leaves that job and she's making 70.
Yeah, but she's making a good point.
He's got 50. He's gonna make 20 more.
Right, you're making a great point, Samantha. Because if you are the one that has to take the maternity leave, or you, God forbid, there's some complication, you can't get back to work, and you are the provider, then the man has to step in. So I see your philosophy on that, and you want to make sure that everything stays even keel. And it's like, whoa. We're rocking the boat now. We might have a mortgage problem.
And a lot of women be turned off of a guy that doesn't have, gumption.
Ambition.
You're going to have motivation, a vision for the future.
I mean, I think it's the same way with guys with girls. I don't want a person that's not want to go out there and do things. Just spend money out of that. I want somebody to work.
It's okay to be content, but you have to have some kind of drive, don't you think?
And, I'm sure we've done some kind of group therapy in the past before where he had the drive and then he just kind of lost the drive. And she's like, what do I do with him now? That's a whole other topic for another time. I said Samantha K because Samantha H is also standing by, even though our Samantha's out on maternity leave.
Oh. I was like, wait, what are all these Samanthas
So
calling?
many
Samantha O.
The Samanthas are on the phone. Thank you, Samantha K. We're moving on to Samantha H, asking the question on Ruler's Relationship Roulette. How important is it for the man that you're with to be the provider? Samantha H, the floor is yours. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
I make double what he makes. And the way that we do it is essentially if I'm spending 20% of my money on bills, he spends 20% of his.
Oh.
So yes, I pay more, but essentially we're contributing the same amount. And the way that I see it, because at home we split everything, 50-50, kids, chores, all the things. And he's a provider in so many other ways beyond just the
money.
Financial.
So you
that
get the
it works
emotional
great
support.
for us.
Do you have children?
Exactly.
Children,
Yeah.
Do you have
3?
Does he ever? Because some guys can't handle that. They can't handle women making more.
Yeah, he absolutely. He takes care of the kids with me. There is no at home. I'm expected to be the provider as well. It is strictly 50-50, except when it comes to the money. And the money, I just happen to make more. And
The 20% thing is interesting, Samantha. How do you?
That's clever. I like that.
That is.
How did y'all come up with that? That your 20% of your paycheck and 20% of his paycheck is going to be the money that you need to do the basics. How'd you come up with that number?
In my head, and it is more than 20, of course, to cover our bills. But like in my head, if we're both paying the same percentage, just mine because I make more, of course, I contribute more money. But in my head, it makes it like equal that we're both contributing the same, essentially the same of what we have.
I've never heard that
to
before.
offer.
That's a great idea, though.
That's a good trick there.
20% of your paycheck has to go to the main.
That way you're both kind of feeling
pot.
it, but you're not.
That's good because in your head, you said he's paying equal. All right, well, thank you for that, Samantha.
I learned something today.
Maybe
Thanks,
you have a new idea. 833-390-KRBE is our phone number. We're asking the question to the ladies: how important is it for the man to be the provider? Lindsay's up next. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Lindsay.
Good morning.
Just real quick, I want to reset a point because we're coming from a society for so many years where it is the little ladies at home. And the husband comes home and she's had a crazy day. He doesn't even want to know about it or ask about it. He just wants to be left alone for a few minutes and then give him his pipe and his newspaper and his slippers.
And in the last 20 years, even Ryan would say at the beginning of our show, when we started, you want a woman that doesn't make as much.
And I changed.
As much, but not more.
You
say that.
grew
That's
up.
how a lot of guys thought that way.
Well, I was immature and I was young, and it was just, it was a stupid way to look at things. I'm not intimidated whatsoever. I mean, if they choose me, then I'm happy.
Yep.
Lindsay, what's your opinion? Hi. Tell us your situation.
Hey. Yeah, so I am single and dating, and I make 6 figures, which I'm really proud about. But because I guess I am so comfortable with my own life, it's not as much of a priority for me whether or not a guy makes. I don't really care how much he makes, as long as he is confident in himself and doesn't. If a guy is hung up on how much of the woman makes, he's too insecure for me.
That's correct.
if that's an issue for you, that's a problem. You got to work out in therapy. And I'm not going to saddle myself with all of that because I'm confident with my life right now.
The hard part is like girls. I always say guys that date girls from SMU. Like they've got a lifestyle where they've go on these great vacations. They've went to Europe. You know, they're
That's
exactly where I was going to go. I
back
wanted to
then in
ask
the day, and then people are the guys like, I can't compete with that. I don't have the money to take you on these.
Well,
that's fine. I went to TCU, and I never would want a guy to like. I don't know. I wouldn't be like, okay, well, if you can't afford what my tuition would have been for 4 years of college, or to take me on these extravagant trips, like then you're not enough for me. Like I'm an adult. If I want those things, I pay for them myself.
Sometimes you can run into problems.
If you are hung
though.
up on that,
that's cool.
And if you're hung
so
up on
you
that,
want
that's
to pay
a
for
problem.
yourself? Like I was in a situation where she was accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and I'm
But
very
she
old
paid
school.
for it herself.
No, I paid for it, and
But before she met you, she paid for it herself?
Yeah, she would pay for it herself.
Uh-huh.
But then I wanted to make sure that she, was taken care of to the lifestyle that she was accustomed to.
If you wanted
I know
to make
it was a
sure
mistake.
that.
It was a mistake.
But what do you say though to him though? You go, oh yeah, we go that trip. Well, we're 50-50, right? We're splitting.
No.
Well, listen, I think, Lindsay, to your
No.
point, if you making the money that you make, Lindsay, you're dating somebody and you're like, you know what? I want us to fly to Cabo for vacation. Are you good with Cabo? Let's find some tickets. And you're like, well, I want to step it up and, I have points or I don't know.
You want to stay
However,
at Grand Velas in Cabo. And he's like, well, there's this other one. It's like
it's going to be $800 a
cheaper.
night is what you found. And he found one for $400 a night and you're pushing for the $800 a night. Where would you go with that one, Lindsay? You know he makes less than you.
If I want the $800 a night, then I'm going to pay for how much if that matters to me because I want the nicer of the two hotels, then I'm going to pay for it.
So you're going to pay for the whole thing then? Because his budget was $400 a night and you're like, no, this is on me. I'm paying $800 a night, the whole thing.
Or you can at least pay the $400.
You pay the $200 of the $400 that you were willing to split. Right? Because if he was looking for $400 and he wanted to split
I'll pay the more expensive.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I really wanted to say real quick to one of the previous callers' points about the whole if I'm going to bear your children, you need to be able to make enough money to cover the cost. See, my thought process has always been I plan to adopt, and that way it's still going to be 50-50. I don't understand why people get so hung up on the whole women have to be the child bearers, when in reality they don't have to be. And we can adopt and keep it a partnership. And that is the perfect solution, in my opinion.
Well, look, that's a perfect solution for you, but that's not the most common solution. When people want to start a family, they're starting it because they hope they can bear the children themselves.
But no, thank God for people like you who will adopt kids that really need a good home.
And a lot of times people, Kevin, you're going straight into it, Lindsay, not knowing if you can or can't. You're just going straight into it you want to adopt a kid. A lot of people who end up adopting, they adopt because they were going to try and carry a baby. And unfortunately, the infertility journey was terrible. And then they adopt. But if you already have your life plan set on a lane, and that's great.
You sound like you get it all together. And I think that these are all conversations that people should have before they get into a committed relationship. You should establish those ground rules.
Deep. You started talking that deep.
No, but you should know.
Third date.
I'm just trying to get some.
I know, but I'm saying when you've made that decision that you want a future together, you should have these conversations.
Wait, real quick, Lindsay, before you hang up, can you hear me still? You still there? You're good?
Yeah.
You're there. Okay.
Yeah.
You said you're in a relationship right now, or you're not?
No, I'm dating. I was in a relationship for about a year, and now I'm dating.
Okay, so when you're dating, where would this conversation fit? What timeline? Is it third date where you tell the man, oh, by the way, I'm not planning to actually carry any children. My plan is to adopt children, so it doesn't interfere with my career path? Or where does that I'm going to adopt plan come in versus, because a lot of people just let natural things take its course. But to know that you want to adopt children, that's like a statement to make, Where would you throw that in the mix while you're dating?
I mean, wherever it organically comes up naturally, usually, within the first 3 dates. I mean, I'm 30, so I feel like it's pretty natural to have that conversation earlier than it was in your 20s.
Yeah.
So
what was the reaction?
I don't worry about it.
Have you had any odd reaction from a man oh, okay, that's great.
No.
Thanks for the information.
Not at all.
Okay, good.
He's
I've never had a guy say
we can still practice,
oh no,
right?
that's a deal breaker.
Practice. We're going to Carnegie Hall.
You've never had a guy say, okay, no, but let's practice.
Yeah, let's just practice that.
Thanks, Lindsay. Have a great day. Because I think you guys there's all these things when we talk about couples dating, because dating is so hard these days, anything can scare somebody off. Anybody can make them ghost you. And if you're like, well, I want to be married by 9 months from now, and then I have to be pregnant in 12 months from now.
I put that pressure on you people.
Oh my God, I'd run the other way.
A hard edge plan for a lot of people scares them off. That's why she already knows her plan.
But Lindsay sounds like a go-getter. Like,
yeah.
So TCU. I got my 6
I
figures.
think for her, she needs to find a guy that's got drive, and then he's got ambition
to match that drive.
Serena's up next. Rula's relationship roulette. Oh no, we're out of time. Darn, I didn't notice the time. We're out of time, Serena. Okay, listen, y'all go to the listener line at 713-278-VENT. Serena compromises depending on who earns more, and Carla says she's not looking for a provider. She provides for herself.
I like that.
Good for her.
Overall, we've had more not looking for the provider than looking for the provider as presence on the air.
It's a different world.
All right, go to the listener line 713-278-VENT. That's 8368 on the phone. Okay, White Lotus is quite a phenomenon for those who watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Righteous Gemstones, not so much. But there is a common person in both of those shows that you probably heard more clips of.
I see more people wearing Righteous Gemstone T-shirts than they are.
Oh, yeah, I have one.
White Lotus.
Yeah, Uncle Baby Billy.
Baby Billy, I see that everywhere.
He's so
Go on,
hilarious.
nerd.
What's up, nerd?
Come on, nerd.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
Walton Goggins is that actor's name, and he has a statement to make about his character and co-star from White Lotus that some people are questioning.
He's feuding with some girl, right?
Are they or aren't they?
Girl, the teeth.
Are they or
not
aren't they?
feuding.
Her name is Amy Lou Wood, not
Yes.
Teeth Girl.
Oh my God! And I've not watched White Lotus, so I'm out of the loop on this. But
I mean, you do know
are
this
they or
the
aren't
teeth.
they? Find out next on In Scoop on KRBE.
Celebrity Scoop. On the Rule and Ryan Show with Eric.
104.1 KRBE.
It's brought to you by Taqueria Arandas and Walton Goggins. Not Walter Goggins. Not Walter
I
Gaga.
thought it was Coggins.
Not Coggins. It's Walton Goggins.
And I'll say Ryan was on the Walter train way before anybody.
Walton.
Yeah. With the Shield.
Walton.
The Shield.
Walter or
He
whatever.
started in
Walton.
If you ever want to watch
I said
a
Walter.
great police drama, gritty, wild, watch The Shield.
Michael Chiklis is in that, right?
Oh my God, it is so good, and he was amazing in that show.
Walton Goggins.
Everything he's been in Sons of Anarchy, he was a transgender person.
Hey, everything he's done. Tarantino, Hateful Eight.
I didn't watch any of
he
that.
was good in that.
I've only known him for Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max.
So good now.
He's great in White Lotus.
And I was like, is that his real hair? What's up with his hair?
No,
he
was.
really does have a receding hairline, but I guess because of his role in The Shield, everyone knew it's receding. So for him to put on the toupee or
On
something,
The Shield,
it'd be so
he was
obvious.
balding really
It's
bad.
funny.
Yeah.
I'll just show you something on TikTok. A video of him being on 90210.
Oh, really?
Like he was in one of the
Like the original
fraternities.
run.
Yeah.
Oh, how
he
funny.
was.
He's up there talking to Don and them. He was like one of the fraternity guys.
Walton Goggins.
He's a great actor.
Well, Walton Goggins and Amy Lou Wood talked to Variety about their White Lotus connection, a cut love scene, and why he unfollowed her on Instagram. Because people are saying, ooh, are they feuding? Are they feuding? Look, if you haven't watched this show like me, you don't know how deep this goes. But everybody else who's watched it, this is major
It
to
goes
them.
deep.
Rick and Chelsea, may your souls be tied forever. That is what the producer of White Lotus, David Bernard, sent to both of them in a text message. They had never met each other. They didn't do a chemistry audition. They did nothing. They were both cast as those characters to be put together.
Were they put together on the show? Or I thought he was with some other girl.
Oh, he has a wife.
So, but he does scenes with that girl.
Yeah, he does scenes with that
Okay.
girl. Yeah.
Because he said, Walton Goggins said, I'm Scorpio. And Amy Lou said, I'm Scorpio Moon. Oh my God, that's such a girl answer.
What does that even mean?
I don't
no
know what it means,
idea.
but you know what I mean? We're Solar Sam. Okay. And we didn't know what to say after that. We just said, see you in Thailand. And that was the thing. So a lot of people are saying, like, what's their feud? Because he unfollowed her. A lot has happened since then. Since then, season 3 of White Lotus is out. What is that, Netflix? Or
HBO.
No, it's
HBO?
Max.
Okay.
Max.
Man, he's on those Max shows.
It's Max, but
Yeah.
they're changing their name back to HBO Max.
Yeah, right. Their love story was an up and down, complicated journey that featured Chelsea consistently trying to pull her boyfriend from a dark spiral as he struggled with the fact that he may have been believed to kill his father when he was close by. That is the storyline if you don't watch White Lotus, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ultimately, that spiral got the best of him, resulting in both him and Chelsea having some different kind of
Yeah, don't spoil
storyline
anything.
lane.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything else than that, but they had a different lane, a different path they went through.
Both left over.
So I know, I saw that.
Well, he
I
knows
knew
how
how
it
to say
ends.
that. So a lot of people are saying that there was something behind the scenes that, we hear this all the time about actors who were supposed to like love each other or have some great chemistry. It just didn't work out. But they are both in this Variety article in this happy photo shoot, smiling and hugging, and it's genuine. And they don't know why the feud thing has come out, but it has. And
Because
they're
people were
they're not
creating
feuding.
drama because they were so close. Like when the show wrapped, they did like a big photo dump on his Instagram, like 20 photos, and it was set to Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
And that's like all about loving someone, but you have to let them go. And this,
So
and
people were
that.
just trying to
like stir up drama,
Where
They were
none existed,
They
yeah.
didn't want the show to end, so they wanted some more drama.
Right. So if you want to see that whole Variety interview, go to Variety.com. You can read the whole thing if you are all about White Lotus season 3.
White Lotus is a great show, but you got to know going into it, if you're not patient, it is a slow burn.
If you have ADD or
And so, from what I understand, guys, they feature a different person every season because Jennifer.
Sometimes they bring
Jennifer
Coolidge was
made
all
it-
over the place for
she
that
was in
show.
2 seasons.
But there's a guy that they bring in throughout the whole.
All 3 of them.
Yeah,
ties it
That's good to
together.
know. I'll try and check that out my off season, my off time in summertime because life stops.
I just don't feel like we'll be into it.
No, I don't think you have the
and
patience
you're not
for
gonna
it.
enjoy it on your
But
phone.
you wouldn't have thought I was into Righteous Gemstones.
No, it's not like that kind of show.
It's
though.
long. It's an hour, and
You got to pay attention.
you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
There's little things
Okay.
that,
and it looks great on the screen. The cinematography.
You can't watch that on
Yeah,
a
I
phone.
can't watch it on a phone.
The
That's how I watch
locations.
TV. Okay, well, let's get to this would be something perfect to prime that these two ended up getting married in real life or they were a real life couple or things like that. People meet each other on sets all the time and they end up having relationships. Anybody remember when Penelope Cruz dated Matt Damon? They were in that movie at the horses.
Yeah, what was
That's
that?
where they hooked up.
And then she was with Nicolas Cage too when he did the something violin.
Captain Crowley's mandolin.
Oh, you
they hooked
hated
up
that.
there.
Yeah, that.
I only watched that movie for
Tom
the Greek
Cruise,
scenery.
Vanilla Sky.
Yes, she hooked up with him.
Cruz, yeah.
She was. If I was her husband, Javier Bardem, or whatever, I'd be like, honey, you're not. No, I'm going with you to every movie.
Well,
set.
Julia Roberts also would date all her
leading men.
co-stars. Julia Roberts was with Kiefer Sutherland. They were engaged. She was with, when she was in Steel Magnolias, Dylan McDermott, who played her husband in Steel Magnolias, she was with him in real life after filming that. I mean, they do get immersed. Think of like just your high school teenager who's in a play and they have a romantic partner. They're going to be like crushing on each other.
Of course, you're spending 6 months together on a closed set. You're the other person's whole world.
So they all became something. So Jessica Biel, anybody remember when she dated Chris Evans? She's married to JT now.
I do not remember that.
I don't remember that.
They dated from 2001 to 2006.
I'd pay to see that.
Oh my God, Eric, you're awkward.
What do you mean by
Jessica,
that?
we're just asking that. Jessica Biel is now married to Justin Timberlake, and nobody remembered she dated Chris Evans for 5 years, and Justin Timberlake dated Cameron Diaz for 5 years, and he's married to Jessica Biel. You kind of forgot about that. And then Hilary Duff was with Joel Madden before he married Nicole Richie. Anybody remember that? It's like we forgot.
Make sure you type in Joel.
Joel Richie?
It's Joel Madden.
Joel
right?
Madden.
Because Joe Madden is just type in
Oh,
Joe.
yeah.
Type in Joe Madden.
Not John Madden.
Look up Joe Madden. You'll see.
Okay.
He's a
Anyway.
coach for the Cubs when they won the World Series.
That's not the guy she dated. Jennifer
great-
Aniston famously was with Brad Pitt, and we know that broke up because of Angelina Jolie. But after that breakup, like right after that breakup, she filmed the movie The Breakup with Vince Vaughn, and they dated from that. And that was over in a year.
Good job, Vince. You got her while she was down.
Rebound.
Yeah, rebound. He's like, I'm going to be a rebounder. I'm with Rachel.
A lot of people who were Dawson's Creek fans very strongly remember the relationship of Katie Holmes and Chris Klein. They were engaged to be married until Tom Cruise swooped in and made that deal with her.
Oh, the
Come over here
Scientology
and
deal?
That
let's
still
get-
sucks. That
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really believe that Chris Klein and Katie Holmes would have probably been like the Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar couple.
I could see that.
But he was like, wait, you're doing what now? You're going to marry Tom Cruise and you're going to have his kid? And then he's going to
And how much
shun both
money
you
are you
guys?
getting?
And what's happening after 10 years?
Is she in college now?
Why are you in conferences with Nicole Kidman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where's Suri Cruz now? How old is that child? Is Suri Cruz like a
think she's in
college
college.
girl? I mean, heck, time is
She's hanging out with
flying
Brad Pitt's
by.
kid.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be so
All
insane
those kids.
if they ended up becoming roommates?
She's
or
19
something?
now.
I thought she went to college.
Yeah, and Shiloh, the twins, I think, are 16, or is it 4?
I think she goes to college too.
Shiloh is 19 because Shiloh, maybe 14 is coming into my head because it was $14 million. That was the winning bid to get Shiloh's baby picture.
And no one cares nowadays, right? You don't
Yeah.
care
No,
about
nobody cares
celebrities.
about that stuff.
Yeah, celebrities just put that stuff out there themselves
They control it.
in the narrative.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Rule and Ryan Show with Eric.
what's going down in H-Town?
104.1 KRVE.
There's some lines around the city. People are trying to get that Nintendo Switch 2. Came out today. I was watching the news last night and at Baybrook Mall.
Mumbles was on the news last night. Where's Mumbles in line?
There were people lined up overnight for this thing. So you'll actually be able to find it at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, GameStop.
What's it cost?
Listen to this, $449.99.
It's not. I mean, it's expensive, but I mean, I thought they could jack that thing up to 800. I bet.
Oh yeah.
What does the original Switch cost?
It's about $400, I think.
So this is the generation.
Yeah,
two
maybe
of the Switch.
$350. I bought my daughter that when she was young.
This is their second one.
This is the second
right?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's bigger, it has improved Joy-Cons. It's got a new feature that allows for you to interact with your friends while gaming.
Just don't go to GameStop to get it, people.
Eric hates GameStop because of his one
For principle
incident.
alone.
At least the one in Maryland.
Don't go there.
I don't even know if it
It's
has
Eric.
that. I was in Maryland yesterday. I didn't even drive by that. I turned my head this way.
You've got to let it go,
I
Eric.
look over there. I don't even know what's there. I hope it's not.
Eric had a bit of a dust up
They accused me
with
of
the
stealing.
GameStop in Ireland.
They still owe me $150. I will get my money somehow someday.
Oh, I'll get it, kid.
I'm playing the long game.
You've been doing anti-commercials for them.
Somehow I'm going to become a billionaire somehow. I'm going to buy it when they're in.
You know, we do this segment on
foreclosure.
Tuesdays at 7. It's called Revenge. And I was wondering why you were so adamant about making this specific phone call Tuesday to some gaming.
Unfortunately, something
retailer.
bad's going to happen over there. Like
You'll be the number one suspect.
I'll be driving over there. Get my
Major
haircut.
GameStop gunned down.
And be like over a controller.
Guy with a glass of bourbon in his hand, seen at the scene.
Running away. Or not running away, but walking.
Waddling.
Because you're drunk and you can't walk straight. Don't drink, kids.
Still remember
Pickles your
GameStop.
liver and
You
your
thought
brain.
I forgot, though. I'm watching
Anyway,
you.
GameStop accused him of stealing when he purchased an empty box. Somebody stole the controls
Well,
out of the
Switch.
box.
It was a Switch.
It was a Switch,
With
yeah.
those two
I remember
controllers weren't in it. And they go, yeah, people have been taking those lately. I'm like, well, I'm
you
not
sold
taking
me
them.
that.
And you were so
You didn't-
mad.
I
that
should've
they-
You
in
don't
the
check
box.
the seal when you buy things?
Exactly. They should have looked before, and I should have just sucked.
Hey, man, let me give you a little warning
I
on
went
that.
back 40 minutes later. It wasn't like I waited like 5 days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And little warning, you know, CVS is the kind of place where you find yourself to buy whatever you went in there for, but then you randomly buy something else. Like, oh, look at that. I bought granola bars for my kids' snacks. So I was on the way to school one day to have lunch with them. And somebody had slit the box on the side because I thought it felt
that
lighter.
sucks.
And it was really with like a razor. It felt like a perfect slit to the side where the nutrition value is. There was a slit there so you could slip out the
Somebody
box.
had
The
to
top
actually
looked
plan
sealed.
that. I'm going to
Yes.
CVS. I've got my razor blade, and I'm
Yeah.
going to steal these
Yeah.
crackers.
And instead of 6 granola bars, in there, there were 4.
That's so funny.
And the slit, I was like, what the hell? Somebody just took
sucks.
2 granola bars out of the box in the aisle
Tell you,
at CVS.
if you're going to steal from CVS is the place I think I would start a life of crime with.
Well, I wouldn't
there's never an
advertise that,
employee
Ryan.
in there. I go in
Yes,
there,
there is.
and I can't find the
The
one
one-
I go
maybe
to.
maybe one.
The one by me over at Buffalo and, oh my God, I forget.
59.
59.
They have guards there. They have, you can't even go in with kids. Like, kids can't go as a group. You have to, like, one at a time go into the one.
Yeah, because they flash rob.
The one over there by, oh my God, what the hell is this? When my
What?
kids used to go to St. Vincent de Paul, that street.
Oh, Holcomb.
Buffalo Speedway.
Oh, yeah, Holcomb. Buffalo
Holcomb,
Speedway,
okay.
Holcomb. Right over there. They won't let those kids in that private school or public school.
Because when packs
They
of
stop
kids
them.
come in, if they
One's
they-
distracting, the other one's stealing.
I mean, did you watch Step Brothers? Will Ferrell had quite the problem walking by that group of kids. Kids can take you down.
made him kiss the white turd.
Oh, yeah.
How do you remember that? That's the
Yeah, 'cause
least
his tongue-
detail I remember.
Because his tongue is like, oh.
I just remember he was bullied by a whole bunch of kids because kids in a pack can be terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Did you miss what happened on Roses today? It was pretty ridiculous what happened between Alicia and Sean when it came to where he wanted to send roses and what he wrote on the card and what his excuse was. You'll hear the whole thing. This is where we find out if your mate's cheating. Oh, yeah, he was. Next on KRVE.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he was.